Nancy Pelosi just announced her top priority for the second stimulus package is ensuring young little kids get their letters to Santa Claus in August. And I'm not kidding. Good afternoon, this is LALATE, and I'm here, you're here. I don't know where Santa Claus is, but apparently Nancy Pelosi's obsessed with him after her postman. This is Afternoons LALATE that starts every day at 3:30 with the check, then goes to hazard pay, then FPUC, and then rent assistance. In this land of reality and lack of reality, there's shocking news, great news, and really news this afternoons that you could also be called what the hell news. Let me get to the great news. The great news is that you're getting a check. I said it to you, and I'm going to reaffirm it to you. You're going to get a check, not in the month of August, but in the month of September. It's going to be $1,200 if you're not a dependent, $1,200 single individuals, $2,400 married couples. If you're a family, you would get checks for the dependent, which is really great news. Unlike the first stimulus package, the first stimulus package did not give adult dependents a check. You're going to a check this time, especially if you're on SSDI, SSI, Social Security, and railroad benefits. You're getting a check. People ask, how do I know you're getting a check? Because everyone has said you're getting a check. Republicans, Democrats, mainstream Republicans, other side of the road Republicans, all types of Democrats have all said you're getting a check. It's in all their packages. The problem is that it has not been extracted by the jaws of life from a very large stimulus package that people cannot agree upon. But they're also really great news today is that the heat, the pressure, the hot pot that I have told you that America needs on Nancy Pelosi to get her to understand that people need these checks right now is working. A reporter really put Nancy Pelosi's feet to the flames minutes ago, and I have the transcript for you, as to why she's doing the following. One, the reporter asked, hey, there's agreement on the checks. It's sort of like the reporter was watching LALATE. She's like, there's agreement upon the checks, Nancy. And she said the Republicans agree upon the checks. She said Mark Meadows called you out this week and said, I have an agreement on the checks. Let's send out the checks this week. I just love this reporter. It's just like, she's like, transcribing my videos. And she said the Republicans want to send out a stimulus check. The Democrats want to send out a stimulus check. They're ready to send out a stimulus check. Then she defaulted to my reporting from yesterday and the day before. Remember the Blue Dogs? Not the Blue Man Group, but the other one, just with more furry ears. She referred to the Blue Dogs, and she referred to the Democratic Coalition, New Coalition. They don't have as catchy a name. They should really work on the name and do something, more with animals or furry things. And she said all these people, which amount to about 300 to 400 Democrats, have said, Nancy, do a standalone bill. Nancy, do a standalone bill. When are you doing a standalone bill? Now, as backup, those people called for a vote on the standalone bill today. Nancy on Friday said, I'm not doing it, but she didn't say when she might do it. She once before said she would. The reporter pushed her back and said, Nancy, will you do standalone bill? Well, Nancy's response was no. So here is the really good or great news, depending on how you look at it. I think it's great news. The reporters, the Republicans, the Democrats, her fellows, Democrats in the House and the fellows in the Senate, all are on her back saying, get the standalone check out. Get the standalone bill done to get the stimulus check out. Because all 5 of those people have agreed to a stimulus check. So you're sitting back, it's like, I don't see an agreement on the stimulus check. Yes, they've agreed to the stimulus check. They've agreed to the stimulus check. There's only 2 issues that they're not really clear about, and I don't think they're deal breakers. One is the dependents, Republicans $500, Democrats $1,200, and child support. Democrats not taking out for child support, Republicans taking out for child support. No one has really ever said that these are deal breakers. So 5 groups, every group involved, including the president. I've got 6 groups. I mean, there's even Larry Kudlow likes it. Everyone is ready to send out your stimulus check. Except that woman from California, that 80-year-old, very $28 million net worth woman from California with the matching scarf, matching suit today. No. My top priority is making sure young little kids send their letters to Santa Claus. I'm not exaggerating. That's actually what she said. Now, that is all the great news. Get ready for the what the hell news. I'm going to warn you before I deliver this reporting to you. I encourage you to move away from any glassware in the room and ensure that you are seated and not standing up, because this reporting may cause you to start swinging your arms. So, Nancy Pelosi was asked today by the reporter if she would agree to 3 standalone bills, which is, what I've been reporting. First, a standalone bill for stimulus checks to go right out next week, a standalone bill for FPUC to unemployment to get extended, and a standalone bill for eviction moratorium. Nancy Pelosi said that she and her fellow Republicans are ready to deal with this in January. Yeah, you heard me right, January, as in next year. Let me get to the quotes. Yeah, don't stay calm. Stay calm. I know what you're about to say. Let me go right to the exchange. I transcribed it for you, so here is literally the words. The reporter. Mark Meadows tweeted out a message to Democrats: if you really want to help Americans, why don't you pass relief for small businesses, unemployment, along with the post office funding? But you said you don't want to break things down. You said that today is focused on the Postal Service. Pelosi interrupts her and says, yes, that's right. Reporter, but what about the members in your party, aka the other Democrats? What about the other members in your party who think that maybe a vote on the Small Heroes Act, $2 to $2.3 trillion of the Heroes Bill with a shorter time frame is perhaps a good idea? She's referring to the people I referred to in yesterday's video and the day before, the Blue Dog Democrats, and the New Coalition Democrats, which is about 400 Senate and House Democrats. I mean, it's basically like the whole damn building, who said, do this quickly, smaller bill, standalone bills. And why it's a 2 to 2.3, it's a reduction of her bloated bill to get this fast stuff out. So repeat, she's asked her, what about the members in your party who think a shorter time on the HEROES Act, $2 to $2.3 trillion with a shorter time frame is perhaps a good idea? Pelosi responded the following. Well, you listen to some things here. Let me respond to some things about what is his name put forth. The reporter had asked her what Mark Meadows, chief of staff to the president, which is not a small job, it's not a small position. I know you don't like him, but her opening remark is, let me respond to what is his name put forward. Okay, there's a time to be petty, and this is not the time to be petty. Is this just a press conference in an afternoon on a Saturday when we've all had our cup of coffee and, we're on our third at this point? She starts by, let me respond to whatever his name is put forward. Okay. She says he didn't say anything about schools. He didn't say anything about crushing the virus. He didn't say anything about the people being evicted. He didn't say anything about food insecurity, about millions of American children. He didn't say anything about state and local. That is completely unacceptable. On the other hand, my colleagues, I welcome their suggestions, and we are all in sync. We said we can come down $1 trillion. We are ready and willing to negotiate at that level, and we're making plans for something that we want to do next, because how many days is it until the election? 73? 73 days. 99 days since the bill. 73 days since the election, which means to the election. And we're getting ready for this legislative session that comes, and the legislation begins in January. So we're all in sync to our caucus. Okay, I hope you follow my advice, so you're not in a room with a lot of fine china or any glassware, because this is the point at which you want to keep your hands by your side and stay calm. Let's all breathe. She actually said, in response to a series of tweets by whatever his name is, whose name is Mark Meadows, chief of staff to the president, that her party is in sync and will get to stuff in the next legislative session and in January. I want you to reach your conclusion. I will tell you my understanding of her words after watching her video and replayed it just a few times. She's basically saying that if Mr. Mnuchin, if Mr. Meadows, Mark Meadows, if Mr. Meadows wants to communicate with me, I'm ready to wait to give coronavirus relief next year. This is the what is the hell, what are you talking about? News. Now, there's so much craziness, insanity in her comments even earlier in that paragraph. Let me start at the very beginning. She says, he didn't say anything about schools. Schools is not a priority, Nancy. Checks, unemployment, and eviction moratorium is the priority. He didn't say anything about crushing the virus. What is that? What is that? Testing? Everyone's put forward money for testing. That's ridiculous. Steve Mnuchin put money for testing. And you're going to kill the bill because you don't have enough money for testing when people need stimulus checks, unemployment, and eviction moratorium. That's also not a priority, but they also have said something about crushing the virus. He didn't say anything about people being evicted. How many times do you expect him to say it? He has literally said it like 1,000 times, Nancy. Steve Mnuchin has said it. The president has said it. Larry Kudlow has said it. Mark Meadows has said it. Now, I fully understand that maybe they don't write it in a bill, which was written by Mitch McConnell. They have literally said it every waking breath. So I don't know what game she's playing. She's playing the, let's reinvent the news game? That's not what they said. He didn't say anything about food and security for millions of American children. I don't know what that means. Security for children? I think security starts with eviction moratoriums. I mean, if you have a home, what are we going to have? Security guards walking them down the street? I don't understand what that's talking about. He didn't say anything about staying local. Yeah, he says he's not going to give you staying local. And Americans have also said, we're not doing staying local now. We've also said that state and local is not a top priority. We've also said that you want to bail out the state of New York and Andrew Cuomo because you have Chuck Schumer in the room who only does stuff for the state of New York that can go and borrow money, from Jerome Powell, who allocated the Main Street lending program so that states like New York can go borrow money at incredibly great interest rates rather than get free grant money that's supposed to go to the citizens. Mic drop. I don't know what she's thinking. Now, all her party members, the Blue Dogs, the Goat New Coalition, the guy at the corner with the hot dog stand, everyone has told her, Nancy, state and local is not a top priority. It does not need to be done now. And yet she's still doing that thing. Now, let's go to the next paragraph. We said we'd be willing to come down $1 trillion. And no, you didn't say that. You said you would only come to the room if they came up $1 trillion. We're willing to negotiate at that level. No, you're not. You actually said just a few days ago you were only willing to negotiate if Steve Mnuchin came up $1 trillion. And we're willing, and so then she gets to, then she talks about her caucus, meaning her fellow Democrats, that everyone is on board with her and the fellow Democrats. No, they aren't. Does she not realize what's going on? Her fellow Democrats are irate with her. And I got to tell you, I'm not trying to be political. I'm not trying to be anything. And some people are saying I'm really hammering on Nancy Pelosi the last few days. I hammer on everyone. I've told you President Trump's eviction moratorium is a sham. It is a horrible piece of document. It does not give you an eviction moratorium. I've slammed on Mitch McConnell like every waking breath I can because he wrote the HEALS Act. It does not put an eviction moratorium in there, even though Steve Mnuchin and everyone else said they want to give you an eviction moratorium. I have slammed on Republicans. I've slammed on Democrats. But today, I really have to slam on the person who's talking, who's Nancy Pelosi. She said that her caucus, her Democrats, are in sync with her. They're not. They're not. They absolutely are not. And you know why? Because they could lose their reelection bids. They absolutely could lose their reelection bids. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, just Google AOC's remarks about Nancy Pelosi choosing primary candidates in the last 24 hours. Articles just in the last 24 hours, and add Kennedy into your search. Progressives are angry as hell at Nancy Pelosi. Non-progressives are angry. Everyone's angry at her. And she seems to be in an altered state of universe. But then came that January remark. 73 days till the election. She keeps on saying since the election. It's till the election. And we're getting ready for this legislative section, the legislation session that comes, and the legislation that begins in January. Does she honestly think that she, a $28 million net worth woman, a career politician, who flies in and flies out on your tax dollars and makes what, $30,000 a month, lives in a beautiful home, has a gorgeous, beautiful pink suit today with a pink matching scarf. Does she honestly think that the people that she represents in the state of California, of her district, of the entire state, or of the entire United States can survive to January? Is this a political move, Nancy? Are you waiting for a Biden win and then flip the House? Because we've seen those Democratic commercials that are every 10 seconds. That the Democrats win the Senate, that the Democrats win the House, that you just simply don't give us relief at all until you win a Senate win this fall, and then you'll do the bill in January? When, as we know, what happens in January? January is when the new congressional leaders are sworn in. So even if the Democrats win in the fall election, they can't do anything because they're not sworn in until January. Is she having us wait till January? She's mad. She is literally mad crazy. If this is what her comments meant, needless to say, the reporter didn't follow up on why did she evoke January. But this is this is her response to a series of questions asking, why aren't you doing more timely, urgent bills now as opposed to, waiting in September? Her response is, I'm not going to do them now, and we're getting ready for January. Let me give you some other things for this. I know it's August. You usually don't barbecue outside, but if you hear a bonfire outside burning, I'm about to throw a little more hot coal on it and some lighter fluid. Guess what happens September 30th? Government shutdown. If there's no balanced budget. Guess how many days they have to do the balanced budget, which is a very difficult bill. It takes a lot of time. 2 weeks. And this, and an armed services bill. Is that what she's up to? Drop in the comments below. I'd love to hear your comments. I want to be very frank. I want to be very honest. I'm always trying to keep you positive. You're going to get a check. You're going to get a stimulus check. I don't want you to ever, and you understand because you know me by now, I don't want you to ever hear Mitch tell you you're not getting something because Mitch said it, or you're not getting something because Nancy said it. We don't do that on this channel. We don't sit back and have other people tell us we're not getting things because one person tells it. Because one person doesn't determine your future. Nancy doesn't determine your future. Mitch doesn't determine your future. The president doesn't determine your future except with his veto power. So I don't want you to ever feel defeated because I have to report this to you. What I'm doing is I'm empowering you. I'm empowering you by giving you this transcript. And I got to tell you, it was done at about 10 o'clock a.m. Pacific Standard Time. No other news was reporting it. They were sending out the video, but no one was transcribing it. So again, lack of information. Lack of information. If you join me on Hazard Pay coming up next, I'm going to respond to someone else who's telling you that Nancy summoned people into town to vote on a stimulus check bill today, and that they might have done that. Lack of information is what makes people fall behind. My job is to put you in first. First, always you and me. I want to thank you for last week. We reached 200,000 subscribers. Really incredible. 111 days this channel. Really, we do it by helping one another, keeping things positive, keeping one inspired. I always am on top of the latest breaking news to the minute so I can empower you. The new goal of this channel is let's try to get to 225,000 subscribers in the next 2 weeks. So today's Saturday. So let's do it 2 weeks and let's see if we can get to 25,000 subscribers. If you've not subscribed, go to the front of this channel and hit that subscribe button, which is currently red. After watching this video, it's probably more red now. Then hit the alarm button, which is the one you hit every time you're really pissed off at Nancy. So you're probably going to hit it a few times today. You're going to look when a new video goes live or when I'm transcribing Nancy's madness. And then That way you don't miss anything. If you're having problems getting alerts on videos, because a lot of viewers are, go down to the sticky comments, read my sticky pinned comment, and you'll see more about that. Coming up next is Hazard Pay, then FPUC and rent assistance. A lot of great developments, a lot of great news. I don't want you to be defeated. I just want you to be informed and educated. As always, stay informed, motivated, smiling. Have a great Saturday afternoon. Thank you for joining me, and stay with LA for more.